Hello, everybody. All right. Sounds good.
Hello?
All right,
Hello?
RJ. Hey, Rick. Look at that. Rick's here already. Hey, all. Wow. So we got 5 people here. All right, we'll do a little intro for everybody, and then we will guess we'll get right into it. And now we're back down to 2. Wow.
Well, I had to close that window because I was hearing myself come back. I'm like, where's the echo at? Oh, I've got YouTube open on the computer.
Well, you can mute that too, right?
I know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, and actually, because of the fact I had like 4 or 5 people waiting, I didn't even bother trying to do any secondary help this time. So the 2 people here are, I guess, legitimate viewers. Um, yeah. And it sounds like we still have a bit of an echo.
I don't hear it this time.
Yeah. Well, I heard it on my end. But anyways, um, all right. So I guess we'll wait a few more minutes. Let's see. It's just almost coming up on. Well, now we have 3 people here, so I guess we can. All right. So this is what's on tap for tonight, everybody. We're gonna go over. I'm gonna go over the early history of Archie Comics. We're gonna look at the founding of it as MLJ Enterprises. Then we'll do a little character introduction with Rangatang and his detective pal. Rangatang is one of the main feature from Blue Ribbon Comics #1, which we'll be reading later, a little while here, after we do some of the other intro. You want to read that?
Want to read what? I said, let's read some comics. Yo!
And you're the one who put that up, so we'll get to that in a moment. But of course, the first thing is since we are introducing "quote unquote" a new company in our coverage, first time we'll be covering them since this is when they were starting up. Let's go ahead and get started on that a bit. And just a reminder to everybody, if you guys can go ahead and, if you guys haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here. That would help out quite a bit. Also, if anything that we talk about tonight catches your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will do the best. We will answer those questions to the best of our ability. So, with that, let me just make a slight little adjustment here, as we have 3 people here now. So, hopefully, we can get some people in here. And I do know I mentioned it on Tug's stream earlier, so hopefully we can get some of his people here, especially him. With that, why don't we go ahead and get started here and at least do some of this intro stuff. So, Archie Comics is an American comic book publisher headquartered in the village of Mamaroneck town of Mamaroneck, New York. Known for its many series featuring the fictional teenagers Archie Andrews, Betty Cooper, Veronica Lodge, Reggie Mantle, and Jughead Jones, the characters were created by publisher-editor John L. Goldwater, written by Vic Bloom, and drawn by Bob Montana. They were based in part on people met by Goldwater, quote, in the Midwest, unquote, during his travels through the United States while looking for jobs and places to stay. Archie's first appearance in Pep Comics #22 on December 22nd was drawn by Montana and written by Vic Bloom. Well, a lot of this stuff we can get to a little later when we get to the actual comic. Let's look at the early history here of Archie Comics. So MLJ magazine. This is the only part we're gonna read here. Is this entry right here? We'll read the other parts at a later time. MLJ magazines. Maurice Coyne, Louis
Silverclate.
Silverclate, and John L. Goldwater formed MLJ magazines and started publishing in November of 1939. Now, mind you, what I believe November is more the cover date because these books went on sale approximately in September. As we've talked about before, the on sale date is usually maybe 1 to 2 months prior to the cover date. So just bear that in mind. The company name was derived from the initials of the partners' first names, Maurice, Louis, and John. Okay. Coyne served as MLJ's bookkeeper and CFO. Coyne and Silverclate had been partners in Columbia Publishing, a pulp company that published its last pulp in the late 1950s. Silverclate had a college degree from St. John's University, was a licensed and registered pharmacist, and had a law degree from New York Law School. Man, quite a bit of a jack, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a lot of education going to funny books.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get what I meant when I said quite a bit of a jack?
Yes, I did.
You know what I was alluding to?
Jack of all trades, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. His efforts were focused on the business, printing, separating, distribution, and financial ends of the company. For those of us who are not as familiar with that particular term in this context, RJ, can you explain to me what they mean by separating, what they're talking about here? For those of us who maybe are not as much in the know.
I'm not quite sure myself. Where was this? Where's the context at? I heard it, but
his efforts were focused on the business, printing, separating, distribution, and financial ends of the company.
Yeah, I really don't know what
business, printing, distribution, financial. What in this context is separating?
I have no idea what that is.
Well, if anybody out there has any idea what they may be talking about here, that would be quite a bit of an education and help. And here's Rick going, yeah, Betty Cooper.
Oh yeah, Betty was the right choice.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's get back to this. And John Goldwater served as editor-in-chief. Goldwater was one of the founders of the Comics Magazine Association of America and served as its president for 25 years. The Comics Magazine Association of America is best known to comic fans for its Comics Code Authority. So this is basically the guy who led the charge, to keep the government from trying to regulate comic books themselves by creating the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah, I actually talked with Louis Silverclite's son, who took over his position, about the CCA long time ago. And his position was that the CCA pretty much saved the comics industry, and from his perspective, he was right.
Yeah. Well, according to this, it was actually John Goldwater who was the guy who was responsible for the Comics Code Authority. So,
yeah.
Let's see. He was also a national commissioner of the Anti-Defamation League. And here's the last paragraph for this. The first comic was Blue Ribbon Comics, which we're going to be reading tonight, of course. Published November 1939. That's cover date, mind you. The first issue was half color with the remaining pages in red and white tints. And I since I've already previewed the comic, I knew that already. In December 1941, Top Notch Comics was introduced. In January 1940, Pep Comics debuted, featuring The Shield, America's first patriotic comic book hero, by writer and managing editor Harry Shorten and artist Irv Novick. Now, those two names I think I've seen those names quite a bit. Have you?
Oh, yeah. I've seen Irv Novick in a lot of places.
Yeah. The Shield was the cover feature for Pep Comics until March 1944, when Archie became the dominant feature. The Shield continued in Pep Comics until January 1948. The Shield predates Joe Simon and Jack Kirby's Captain America by 15 months.
Yep.
And his sidekick Dusty from Pep Comics number 11, January 1941, predates Cap's sidekick Bucky by 3 months.
Yep. The Shield is not the knockoff, folks. It's Captain America who's the knockoff. They just did it better.
Yeah. Captain America was the one who became more famous for it. So there we go. So that's at least some of the early history. I have no idea for the separating either. All right. So Rick was pointing it out. All right. So just goes to show you that I don't, again, even though I know at least a little bit about a lot of things, even goes to show you even I don't know everything. But, for those things I don't know, I know at least to ask some people who might know. And that's still no guarantee, though, that that we'll still find out in any way or capacity here. Yep. So, anyways, what was that, RJ?
No, I was agreeing with you.
All right. So, anyways, let's go ahead. Let's go over this. So now I'm just going over here just to do a couple other things. Now, this is, of course, the book we're going to eventually read. We'll be reading in a few minutes here. Meet Orangutan, the Wonder Dog. So hold that line. So this, and then here's Orangutan, origin of Orangutan. Let's see, any notes you might want to. And then there are some other characters here too. Buck Chasey, but I'm not sure if I might read his too a little bit. I'm a Sleuth. Houdini. Now some of these came from other companies too. King Cole's Court. That one I know came over from Dell from basically what I see. Little Nemo.
Really?
Yeah, I'm hearing it. Are you hearing the echo, RJ?
I'm not. And my microphone is definitely on anabolic. Yeah. Definitely on anabolic. You should not hear anything from the back of the microphone.
All right. So anyway, so here are some. Let's see. Here are some of the notes here. Let me see. It might just be on my end.
Well, I turned my volume down just in case it was up too loud.
Yeah. All right. That does sound a little better. It doesn't sound like it's echoing now. That might have been it. All right. So here are some of the notes from this. Well, there it is. But anyways, this first issue was very typical for this time. An anthology comic peppered with short, funny stories. What is a pleasant surprise is reading the gag pages by artist Jack Cole. And I've mentioned that too before, that this was kind of the way they set it up. Of course, Dan Hastings, one of those that came from, is a feature that used to appear in Centaur Comics, but which now has moved to MLJ Archie. Okay, I do remember, seeing that some of the content earlier incarnations. Little Nemo in Slumberland was an old comic strip which ran from 1905 to 1927 by Winsor McKay. Windsor's son Bob McKay was trying to revive the comic strip in the late 1930s, so the appearance here is probably related to that. This is the only appearance for I'm a Sleuth in an MLJ Archie comic. The character will later be revived by Chesler Comics, which is another part of Centaur Comics, by the way. I think Chesler, in 1944. It is unclear if Archie Comics owns I'm a Sleuth today. And Houdini the Great and King Cole's Court are features that were currently appearing at Centaur Comics, but there they are in it. Here they are in an MLJ Archie comic for a one time only. So we might read some of those, we might not, but let's go ahead and at least. There's a couple of markers here in terms of introducing some characters.
I noticed this said volume 11 at the top. We're not reading volume 1?
I don't think it. No, it shouldn't say, unless you're misreading.
No, at the very top of the page said volume 11.
It looks like volume 11, but it's volume 1, issue 1.
Oh, well, they should say something about that.
Yeah,
so it's one, not
the way
one.
the way on these wiki sites, the way they space them, I can see where the confusion come in, but it's because of how they spaced it there that it looks like volume 11. This is volume 1, issue 1. Okay, yeah, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. You see what I have up there?
Yeah, I see it.
You see Blue Ribbon Comics Volume 1, and Blue Ribbon Comics Volume 1, Blue Ribbon Comics Volume 110.
It's more clear when it becomes 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah. You see how they space it?
Yeah.
That's where they throw you off on there. That's kind of what happened there. So anyways, let's go ahead and do some of the character intros here, and then we'll get into the reading. Let's see, is there anybody else who's joined us yet? We still have 4 people, so that's good. As I said, again, as we're going through all this, everybody, if anything catches your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Anyways, let's look here. Orangutan, which is, I guess, the earliest, Orangutan, Earth, MLJ. So that's Orangutan right there, a dog. Let's see. Real name, Orangutan, alias the Wonder Dog, alias is Orangutan the Wonder Dog. Of course, we would later in DC get Rex the Wonder Dog as well. Alignment good, relatives, high speed, owner, and we'll read a little bit more about him in a moment. Male, brown. Let's see. Gender male, hair brown, citizen American, marital status singer, German Shepherd. Creators Will, Har, and Norman Denzing. So here's a quick little thing about Orangutan was a circus dog who was abused by the people at the circus, and he ran away from them and became a runaway animal for a short time. Later, he saved the life of a private detective named High Speed, who took him in. Orangutan proved to be a brave and loyal companion, and an even better crime fighter. Later, Orangutan teamed up with Richie Waters, also known as the Amazing Boy. Orangutan and Richie had many adventures together. No known paranormal powers, abilities, high intelligence. Basically, he's a highly intelligent German Shepherd. So, here they're saying in terms of trivia, he was the first continuing cover hero of MLJ Comics. He is the only character who appeared in all 22 issues of the original Blue Ribbons comics. Orangutan Club was introduced with issue number 4, as readers could write in to a veterinarian to ask questions about dog health and training. And they had a lot of stuff like that in these early comics too. Junior Federal Men and the Minutemen of America, from DC Comics, also come to mind there. So that's Orangutan. Now, High Speed, Earth MLJ. There he is. Gender, American, single, private investigator. History: High Speed was the owner of the dog named Orangutan. And there we go. See. Does a dog really have a citizenship? Yeah, I don't know if the dogs can get green cards or anything like that.
Do they bark with an accent?
Yeah. So, well, or an ethnicity because they said he was a German Shepherd, right?
Ah, yeah. He barks with a German accent. Woof
All right.
woof.
So we'll do a couple more, and then we'll get into the reading. Just a couple more intros here that of Buck Stacy and Sandra here. This one's going to be a Western story. Buck Stacy, Earth, MLJ. This is probably one of the other features we'll probably look at here. I guess not much is being okay. History. Buck Stacy was an investigator looking into the theft of Sandra Cummings' cattle from the Circle R Ranch. Buck suspected that her neighbor, Steve Vance, and her ranch foreman, Ben Hackerman, were behind the whole thing. So I don't know. This is another feature that was kind of a one-time thing, but I guess we'll find out soon enough here. And then here's Sandra Cummings right here.
I love the Golden Age characters. Before we had a single superhero, all we had was just normal people names. That was it. If the name wasn't a joke, it was just a name.
Yeah. Sandra Cummings is the owner of the because if you remember too, before superheroes were before Superman and before superheroes became pretty popular, a lot of the comics were everything from crime noir to sci-fi, space adventures to westerns and funny gags as gag pages as we saw. So anyway, Sandra Cummings is the owner of Circle R Ranch, who was dealing with her cattle being stolen from her. So she hired Buck Stacy to investigate it for her. All right, so there we go with that one. So now with all the intros out of the way, and we have Britt F.
Hey, Britt.
You know her?
No, I don't, but I'm saying hi.
Hello. No.
Could be a guy. I can't tell from an avatar.
Yeah, I was telling my staff earlier how I got catfished before. You remember that, right, RJ?
I remember that. Yes, you and about 100 other people out on the internet. Yes.
Yeah, and how a certain individual decided to try to make it sound like I was something I was not because I felt for being catfished.
Yeah, because you thought somebody was a girl.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead. Actually, why did I even do that? Because I do actually hit. Let's see.
Let's read some comics.
Yep.
Brit has come over from Tug Stream. That's how she knows us.
All right. Well, I did advertise on there earlier. So, Britt, if you can help us out by liking and sharing the stream and seeing if we can get some more viewers in here and get some more people interacting, that'd be great. And it looks like we're already getting some good interaction here.
Tim's here. Now it's a party.
Yep. Greetings from Tug. And as always, guys, if you can like and share the stream, seeing if we can get some more friendly people. And as always, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So let's see. Hello, Britt F. from Rick. Tim Olson, who's with us. Hello. Remind me, it's what day? Oh, for you, Tim, to come on. For you, it's the 24th, so it's 3 weeks from today. Rick is next Friday. And you're 3 weeks from today.
Oh, dude, Tug pinned your channel, so you're a pinned tweet right now over there. Yeah, perfect.
Batgoat. Hey, Batgoat. Well, we'll get to your chat in a second here. Hello, Tim. So, Rick saying hi. Timma.
Living it high, Timma.
Living alive, Tima, and then hello, Batgoat, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while, at least a couple days. But Tug pinned your channel. That was pretty cool. Hey, Mike. Hey, RJ. Hi, Cross. Well, hopefully some of them will come and check us out, Batgoat. We're about to get into this. Get into the reading here in a moment as soon as I finish all this. 24th. Yep, 3 weeks from today for you, Tim.
Let's give them the content.
All right. All right, so now with all the chats out of the way, we are all caught up with the chat. So let's go ahead and get into this. So meet Rangatang, the Wonder Dog. Blue Ribbon Comics, action, mystery, thrills. The cover date, November 1939. As we told you, the cover date is usually 1 to 2 months after the on sale date. This book actually went on sale in September of 1939. That's why we're covering it now. 64 pages as I usually do things by the on sale date. So there's High Speed right there, who we were just looking at. And there's Orangutan. Looks like he's going after a bad guy there, I guess.
Well, I hope it's a bad guy.
Yeah, you'd hope so. In this issue, also Dan Hastings, Foxy Grandpa, Little Nemo, and I'm a Sleuth. You notice how they spelled that there, RJ?
Oh yeah, they did that with a lot of characters, so that you
Yeah,
heard it phonetically.
Hold that line. I'm always on the winning side.
Oh, he's wearing the costume of the other. He's wearing the uniform of the other team.
Yeah,
that's a very subtle one.
Just the ball, dope. Just the ball. Come on, poor Yale. Let's see. Beware measles. Oh boy. With plenty of mustard. Look at that. Just a moment. And here are a number of characters that will be featured in the book here. See on the right there. There's Foxy Grandpa. There's Boudini. King Cole. Let's see. I think the blonde guy is Dan Hastings. Yeah. Hello. It is the very best word we could think of in greeting you in this, our first issue of Blue Ribbon Comics. For we believe that hello is the finest word in the English language. It means that something new is beginning, be it a new greeting of old friends or an entirely new set of circumstances crossing the horizon. Wow, don't you just miss that idea right there that they're doing in that statement right there, RJ? Don't you just miss that in today's comic industry?
Something new. Doing something new instead of redoing something old for the 16th
Well,
time.
not just that, but what do you think in terms of how this generation of creators, how they view and interact with their clientele, with their customers, compared to how today's creators, or at least mainstream creators, view.
I was gonna say, I know a lot of people who are creators who would talk to their customers like this.
Yeah. Well, we're talking more. The most of those are now seen to be in the independent comics.
Yes, they are, because they know who their real customer is.
Yeah. We believe that. Oh, go ahead, Archie. I'm sorry.
Britt's asking how she can give this money. You can't. This is free. This is totally free. We're going to read it online. We're going back to the golden age and looking at the history of where comics came from. So, your wallet is safe. We don't even get advertising revenue on this show yet. So technically, if you want to give it money, the way to do that is to come back, keep watching, and subscribe. So the subscriber counts go up and the view hour counts go up. And then Mike will start getting advertising revenue on the streams. So there is a way you can give money, and that's the way to do it.
Let's see. Batgoat saying super cool, standing by for Archie. Yes. Archie doesn't debut until Pep Comics 22, but this book will have some interesting stories. And then Britt F how can I give money? So that's what RJ was explaining.
Yep.
I'm still a pretty small channel, Brett. So I still have a long way to go before I get there. I'm at 100. Last time I checked, I was at 187 subscribers.
Well, you're at 188 now.
Yeah. Mike isn't monetized yet, I think, which is true. I haven't got monetized yet. Best you can do for Mike is sub and share him out and build up his audience. Well, yep, that's right, Rick. I do appreciate everybody I have subscribed. Thank you there, Britt. Dang it,
That
I'm
goes
out.
out. No, Archie.
On
his behalf.
On his. Okay, but behalf, but behalf is spelled BEHALF.
Sometimes you gotta know what they really meant.
Yeah, I get that. Just kidding. Well said, RJ. Mike, views helps watch old vids.
Yeah, go back and watch the older vids. I mean, maybe old news isn't your thing, but every Friday that comic book historical retrospective. You know what we got to do, Mike? We've got to get you a different thumbnail for Friday so that they're more easily recognized on your homepage, because all the news and all the comic book historical retrospectives all have this same thumbnail. So we need to give you something different that looks golden age and sticks out, so that people say, "Oh, that's the one where they read the comics."
Yeah. Well, I would like to draw people in and view the other stuff too, because I think there are selections of people who might want to see more of the niche news and see what's going on in the world of niche. Whether it's like when we're doing the going over the DC and Marvel releases on Monday, or going to the niche newscast Tuesday through Thursday.
Absolutely, I'm just saying they probably wouldn't
catching us on the weekend edition when. Like I have you and Rick and a few others join on the panel.
I'm just saying for the news, they probably won't go back to last May to see what was in the news that week.
Yeah, but they can always catch it on the replay, if they miss the live broadcasting, Well said, RJ. Okay, we already said that. And good idea, RJ. Yeah. So, anyways, so let's continue with this, because I know people want to get into the actual stories here, but it's good to read this just to understand how creators viewed customers back at this point in time, and maybe learn something from it, that I know many independent creators already know at this point in our time frame now. We believe that Blue Ribbon Comics. Oh, were you about to say something, RJ?
Oh,
RJ?
Oh, not me. No.
Okay. All right. We believe that Blue Ribbon Comics is going to bring you something in comics magazines that you have never quite seen before. It will, in the first place, thrill you in a way you never before have been thrilled, because every picture story in the magazine is planned to make each page count the fullest in exciting drama. Every story in Blue Ribbon Comics is complete. You won't have any long, drawn out plots to try to remember from one month to the next. When you have read the last page of this snappy magazine, and granted, that's what comics were called back then. They were not called comic books, they were called comic magazines. You will have seen all there is to see of that issue, and can look forward to the next with confidence that brand new excitement awaits you. And we'll try to finish this up real quick so we can get into the content. Another thing, you'll never find in these pages any reprints. Every feature in this magazine is entirely original and has never before appeared in any other magazine. And you can rest assured, too, that when you have read Blue Ribbon's comics, you will not find its stories cropping up in other books with different titles. Some people do that, and at times you pay your money for a comic magazine and find that you have read a great many of its features in some other comic book. Now, it was as we've talked about before, and Batgoat knows this from his previous time as my co-host. We have seen in the earlier days of comics where a lot of the comic books were built on reprints of newspaper strips.
Exactly. That's what birthed it was, and we've talked about this before. Uh, the if they shut the press down, the ink dried. If the ink dried, they had to scrape it off. That took money to get the press up and running again. So the best thing to do, the most economical thing to do, was to keep the press running 24/7. And the way to do that was to find more things to print. And they said, well, we'll just throw together all these newspaper funny strips for our newspapers and put them in a compilation. We'll print these all night long and then sell them as 10-cent little booklets. And then we don't have to shut the press down. So,
And that's why you had a lot of these companies like United Feature Syndicates, like Fox Feature Syndicate, why they would call themselves syndicates, because they were basically
they were
part
newspaper
of
syndicates.
Anyways, Batgoat was saying, I think setting Friday apart with its own thumbnail would be a hook. People might tune in. Yeah, I can see your point.
We'll work on it.
RJ and I can.
We'll work
I
on
can
that.
see that point. Yes, I never knew that until you told me how those compilation books worked. See, that again, that's one of the other big things about my show, about these shows in particular, is you can learn a lot. You can learn quite a few things, especially with all the different codes we have, different perspectives we have, getting that conversation going. So, anyways, continuing on here, let's see, where were we? Okay, let's see. All right, that will never happen in any Blue Ribbon feature. And then there are 64. Oh, what? Sound like you were about to say something, RJ.
My mouth been closed the whole time, man. I don't know who you're hearing.
I learned the different ages of comics. Yeah. All right. And then there are 64 full pages in this book. We suggest that you count them and see for yourself. Just because you do not see the pages numbered is no reason why you need fear that we will ever give you less for your money than you are entitled to. That has happened with other comic books, but Blue Ribbon Comics will be on the level with you first, last, and all the time. So for the first time, we present this streamlined double action, extra special, up to the minute, high class issue of Blue Ribbon Comics by saying hello. And we'll be seeing you every month. See, now, the feeling you get from, like, okay, RJ, let me ask you something. Let's say you were as a kid growing up at this. Obviously, you were born much later than this, as was I. But how do you think, as a kid, if you read that, how do you think? Not that I think kids would read the full text of it, but if they either read it or were told this, how do you think they might feel?
I think they feel very welcomed to the book, and plus they know that the book plans on being around, that there's going to be another one and another one after that. So keep coming back.
All right, RJ. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you play narrator, and then when we do get to speaking part, we'll figure out who to do what when we get to those parts. But this week, since you're here, I'll let you be the narrator here.
All right. So this is Rangatang, the Wonder Dog by Norman Danberg. And I'm going to give myself the big screen here. There we go. Running away from a cruel dog trainer with a small-time carnival, Rangatang shifts for himself. There's an origin. One panel. We didn't have to see anything. It's all told right there.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean that was it there.
All right.
He always comes home this way. Careful, he's a copper and carries a rod. Scram, mutt, or we'll hand you what this copper's gonna get. Quiet, here he comes.
All right, you're taking too much of it. I didn't even get a chance to figure out who we should be there. But
Oh,
uh,
yeah, I read the whole thing. I'm sorry. I hogged it.
well, let's try that again. I'll let's see. I'll be the big guy on the right there, and you can be the guy with the other. You can be the guy on the left there. So I'll be the guy with the more rounded hat. You can be the guy with the plaid hat. Okay, you kind of
Okay.
get what I'm saying?
Yep, 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 yep. He always comes home this way.
Careful. He's a copper and carries a rod. Scram, mutt, or we'll hand you what this copper is gonna get.
Quiet. Here he comes. Rang, trained to understand the human voice, sensed the menace in the tones of these two men. And here's a picture of a man in a hat.
All right. That's the way I like to handle cops. And it's a pleasure.
Nothing personal, punk. We just get $1,000 for this job. Rang sensed that the victim was a friend. He leaped for the killer with the gun. Unerringly, Rang struck the killer and brought him down.
So, Rang sensed the victim was a friend.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a
Isn't that
one-hitter.
little, isn't that little, what do you think of the writing on that one?
Oh, they're making it simple. They don't have to explain anything. They just say what is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Not
because
how.
we've talked about stuff like that before when we've read some of these comics, so that's why I was getting. Anyways,
As deftly as Rang, Detective Speed reached behind him and hurled the killer to the sidewalk.
let's see. Talk. Why did you try to kill me? Who paid you?
This is interesting. they're both talking.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
We
don't know
we
nothing.
don't know nothing, and we didn't know you were a cop. That's a lie, right?
Yeah. They're the ones who called him cops.
Huh?
Rang moved in, trying to help this man whose life he had saved. Without the hats, I was the red guy.
Yeah.
It was Blackie Blade. He paid us to kill you.
He's hiding out at the old Griswold Hotel. He's got the district attorney's daughter as hostage.
We've got a damsel in distress. Yes, every element we need for a great story is here.
Except for the fact that some SJW, if they were to see this somewhere, would probably be crying tears.
Well, no, they'd be like, okay, well, when they get there, Speed better get caught and shot, and she better take his gun and be the one who clobbers them over the heads with it because she can't shoot him with it. She'll be smart. She'll get her own way out. She doesn't need rescue.
Let's see. So, yeah, and then I learned the different ages of comics. And Britt F here saying, is this comic that Rex the TV series? No,
Nope.
This is a different character. Like, yes, we did make mention of Rex the Wonder Dog.
Yeah,
but that's a different character altogether.
There were all the tropes. Rex the Wonder Dog was a DC Comics character. There was Rin Tin Tin. There was Lassie, of course. I don't know which one of them would have come first. This might actually be the prototypical Wonder Dog.
Yeah, I believe it is, because I think this is the first. They said this is the first. Actually, if you remember from the notes we read earlier, they did actually mention this was like the first canine superhero.
Yeah.
So
they all owe their existence to the Adventures of Orangutan right here.
All right. Nobody is to see them. Blackie Blade paid them to kill me because he's afraid of me. I know where he is hiding, and I'm going after him. Great, old boy. You're my pal from now on, and I'm naming you Rangatang. How's that?
I think that's a dumb name for a dog, if you ask me. But
It's a big problem, Rang. Blackie is holding that girl, so we can't rush him. He's wanted for murder, and he won't stop at killing her. Makes it tough, Rang. I've got to get Blackie without hurting that girl. And you want to help, I can tell.
Rang well understands his new master and senses his anxiety.
The nice thing about this particular site is that we can just do it all on one page. We don't have to just click the button.
Yeah, I like that. I don't have to go back up to the top and turn, turn the page.
Yeah, well, Read Comics Online has mostly the books, mostly the companies that are still active. Like Archie, we know is still active, so they have their book. I still have to go to Comics Book Plus to read books of companies that are no longer existing. So that's kind of the thing there. You're going to be a great help, Rang. You're the most intelligent dog I've ever seen. That's where they're hiding, Rang. That's where they're hiding, Rang. We'll use the fire escape to get to the roof. Easy, boy.
Rang knew what his master wanted. Softly, he led the way to the hideout. Like two ghosts, Speed and Rang climbed the fire escape to find an entrance through the roof.
That's some nice writing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's very simple, very straight to the point. There's no training involved here. It's just.
Yeah. All right, you want to do Blackie Blade here?
All right.
Oh wait, is that Blackie Blade or?
Yeah, that's Blackie Blade. He's inside with the district attorney's daughter.
Okay. All right.
So take it easy, sister. Blackie knows the cops won't close in as long as you're here. You're my insurance policy, see?
Tough going, pal. That guy will shoot the girl before we can get to him. Now listen. So I guess if you remember when we were looking at the cover page, I bet you Blackie was biting Rang was biting Blackie there. You remember the cover, RJ?
Yep, that would be my guess. Speed and Rang have formulated a plan. So back in town, they do some shopping.
You want to do the clerk right there?
One dog's harness and a coil of light rope. Okay, mister.
They won't see the rope under the harness, Rang. You got to reach the girl and help her escape. Understand? Oh, I should have had you read the narration first there. Sorry, I didn't.
That's okay. The safety of the girl was uppermost in their minds, so they moved very cautiously.
All right.
Rang understood very well. Do you notice how they have to keep telling us that Rang understands?
Yeah, I know that. I know that stuff. We've talked about. We talked about it over the past few weeks. Some of the writing there, where depending upon the company and the writer and so that sometimes they talk to us as if we don't know what's going on, and there are other times they leave out a whole bunch of background detail that would help with the story. So I've seen it on both sides there. But continue on, RJ.
Rang understood very well. He knew the girl must be out of the building before Blackie and his men could be attacked.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I think those are his two men right there. So I think the one on the left is the guy you were doing earlier, and the one on the right is the one I was doing earlier.
Okay.
I thought it was the cops, but it's only a dog.
Yeah, well, I don't even like police dogs. Let's fill them full of lead. That was a classic line from back then. Full of lead.
All the time. You're still green shirt.
Oh yeah. What a mutt. just as yellow as the cops. No use wasting lead on him. And then you see orangutans over at the door that look like he's scratching at the door.
Timing his leap perfectly, Rang was at the gunman's throat before he could give an alarm. Meanwhile, the girl realizes that Rang was sent to help her, and seeing the rope, she unties it.
Rang did it. Now we can take Blackie. Your father is here.
He is a wonderful dog. Wait, her
Well,
father?
No,
I know you were.
That was the girl's voice. I was about to do it.
I know you were. I figure you got to take a couple of breaths for that. I'm like, I just dropped my throat.
Because I have to get my voice prepared for that.
You got to get all breathy for the female voices.
Be a bit more of a stretch there.
You've got to get all breathy for the female voices.
He is wonderful dog.
I've known him for all of 2 minutes, but he's the best. With the girl safe, the police attack in force with a barrage of tear gas and bullets.
Kind of reminds you of the Sandman of that time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'm doing the guy in the green hat because that's still the main guy, but you can do the cop in a moment there. Reach hide. Rang over here. If there is a reward for Blackie, you ought to get it.
You bet he will.
Let's see. Okay. They made a full-fledged. They made you a full-fledged policeman, Rang. That means you eat regularly, and don't worry. We'll have more work for you to do.
See the next issue of Blue Ribbon Comics for more exciting adventurers featuring Rangatang.
All right, so Dan Hastings, another transplant from this is a sci-fi story.
Yeah, another Flash Gordon.
Yeah. You've seen Dan Hastings before, or
I can tell by as it scrolls past. I'm like, it looks exactly like Flash Gordon, costumes and everything.
Yeah, well, didn't they do that quite a bit though? Didn't they have certain weren't there some character? In fact, I remember that was a big thing between DC and Fawcett when Fawcett came out with Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, Buck Stacy. This is the cowboy.
Stacy.
Go ahead.
A bad bargain.
And let's see. I think that's the ranch hand. I'll let you do him, and then I'll do Sandra.
All right. Sure, Sandra. It won't make no difference about the loan. You write and let me know how much you need.
Oh, that's Steve Vance. That's the bad guy, but I'll let you still hold on to him. I'm sorry, Steve. I just don't feel that way about you.
Shucks, the loan's a personal thing. Business. Glad to let you have it anytime.
You're kind, Steve. I've lost so many cattle this year that without it, I don't know. That, I think, is a narration right there.
Yeah. Buck Stacy, young range detective hired by Sandra to find the cattle thieves, approaches the house.
Yeah, that's the second time I've heard a term range detective. I think in DC they have a range detective named Buck Marshall in there as well. And then I'll do Buck Stacy here. Pardon, ma'am. Yes, Stacy?
Reckon you got business, Sandra. I'll be going.
Well, Stacy? Are you a friend of Vance's, ma'am? A good friend? I don't believe it's any of your business. You were hired to find cattle rustlers, not to meddle with my personal affairs. I'm sorry, ma'am. I was only wondering. Suppose you tell me what you have done in the month you've been here. Well, not nothing definite yet. Not yet? Then tell me, please, what you expect to. Perhaps being a range detective is just a way of avoiding work. Um, I was afraid you'd feel that way, ma'am. I'll quit if you'd rather. And well, investigations. It's not like if you're investigating a crime, it's not like it's gonna something's gonna happen overnight. Investigations take time, obviously. Wouldn't you say, RJ?
Yes, absolutely.
So you want to quit? Very well. Suppose you wait a couple of days. There are a few jobs to be done, and the men are busy. Very good, ma'am.
Buck Stacy, his ears burning, goes to the bunkhouse. He looks to see that no one is looking.
I wonder. Know how I wouldn't know how desert her, but I reckon the rustlers laid off. Reckon I'd better quit and work alone. Sure enough, Vance's bin aches on the outside. Oath oath the hide outside of the hide, but the inside sure shows Sandra Cummings Circle R. Okay, so basically, I think what they're saying is that Vance branded his own brand over
On the top of her
Henry.
Circle R. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't figure out why a man with Vance's money'd wanna rustle her cattle when she's darn near broke, and them being so friendly. Yeah. Now here's a theory I want to throw out there, and maybe URG or anybody in the chat might want to think about this. Could it be that maybe Vance is trying to get quite a bit of get her hand in marriage, get her property,
Oh,
all that?
that's the old trope, isn't it? It's like, I'll pull the mortgage on the house, then Nell shall have to marry me.
All right. We got quite a bit of a conversation going in here, so that's good to see. Glad you guys are interacting with each other, and granted, I'm not going to go back because I know we still want to get through all this. So
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm almost done with my beer, and we've only done one story. Come on. It's supposed to last.
Yeah. Anyways, RJ, why don't you read the
I'll take it. Well, how you making out, Stacy?
So, Hackerman, being foreman, you oughta know the rustlers have laid off, and then there's a narration right there.
Yep. Ben Hackerman, Circle R foreman, enters. Stacy pushes the steer hide out of sight. Hackerman is the only man on the Circle R who knows Stacy's purpose.
Yeah, we should have probably read that narration beforehand.
Yeah, it makes it hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah. And now you know why I do this for these, right?
Well, he's whispering.
Yeah, he's whispering or thought kind of thing. And I reckon you got a finger in this Hackerman.
The following day,
here's one job I want you to do, Stacy. Take this letter to Steve Vance. Wait for an answer. Yes, ma'am.
Stacy fumes at Vance's apparent treachery as he starts. He does not notice Hackerman following him.
Hello, Vance.
Oh, Stacy, what you doing here?
A note from Miss Cummings, Vance. She wants an answer.
Come on inside. I'll have this answer finished in a minute, Stacy. Sit down. Just a minute, Stacy. I gotta get some sealing wax.
All right, no hurry. After all, it's my business to find out what it's all about. If Vance is dumb enough to leave these here letters open, I guess the bad guy. But then aren't a lot of bad guys that stupid, RJ?
Of course.
And then we see all the letters, of course, and that.
Yep. She's asking for the $1,000, and he's writing to her to say, meet me at the bank, and it'll be turned over, and blah blah blah.
So she's borrowing from Vance. Well, she'll pay plenty for that loan if she only knew it.
Meanwhile, Vance meets Hackerman.
If he falls for it, we may be able to get him out of here. You take the men to Canyon Pass.
Right, Steve. He ain't doing either one of us good.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Stacy.
So, right. Been improving my mind, going in for art and such.
All right, here's the answer.
Thanks.
Stacy rides slowly towards the Circle R, speculating on the effects of the deal Sandra is contemplating. And when he reaches Canyon Pass, night has fallen.
Reach high, hombre. Drop down, cowboy.
Reckon you got a bad haul in this reckon you got a bad haul in this puncher.
We've been watching you, cowboy. We know you're carrying the loot from the Red City Bank holdup.
Now I know you're crazy. I ain't got $1 on me.
Search him, men.
Nothing on him. Only this here letter.
Let's have a look. Reckon we made a mistake, cowboy. We'll have to hold you for a while, I'm afeared, till we get what we're after.
Just a minute, hombres. What's on your mind? What's on your mind, Hackerman? I knew your voice all along, and you knew I had nothing to do with any bank holdup.
Why, this means, Stacy, that you won't never have the chance to tell no one. When you pulled down that mask, you pulled down your own curtain.
The second installment of this great story will appear in the next issue. Don't miss it. Liars! Liars!
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, as we know, they probably intended for it to come about.
They wrote the letter at the front of the magazine that said, hey, every story is going to be completed here. And the second story we read is a continued next issue story. Liars!
Well, yeah. Hey, Batgirl, you pulled a lot of Mikestand duty. Respecto. Very cool. Appreciate that. Yeah. Laugh out loud. We seem to slum in a lot of some rooms. A lot of the same rooms.
Same rooms, yeah.
Hi, Mike. Hey, Woody. How you doing, my friend? Batgoat. True that. We like goofy streamers. Laugh out loud. RJ, you might want to read this one because I think Batgoat's directing it at you.
Oh, thank you, Batgoat. RJ is killing the narration. It's all Toastmasters, literary contest, public speaking events. I've done it for decades.
This is like a radio storytelling time when I was a kid in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I strive for. I like the radio plays.
All right, so let's get ready to move on to the next feature here. Let me just take care of a couple of things real quick here. Do you want to check something real quick? And looks like the echo seems to be gone now. And I thank you guys for all the likes and shares as always. If you haven't yet, if you can like and share this thing, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That would be of some great help. Also, if anything here catches your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Let's see. Batgo just said something here. Old radio shows are great. I like CBS Radio Mystery Theater. It's public domain, and you can download for free online. Highly suggest for long road trips.
Yep, I agree with you, Batgoat. I've got Sirius XM, so I've got the classic radio channel, and it's nothing but the comedies and the dramas and the superhero stories, all day long.
And of course, RJ, we do know of somebody who also does some public domain stuff, don't we?
Well, I do know George Peter Gatsis, who does the public domain movies. If you like old movies and like to see them roasted Misty 3K style, the George Peter Gatsis channel will do those movies every Friday and Saturday night. I believe tonight they're going to do Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. So,
all right. So Britt says thanks for the tips, no problem. And then what? Wow, and then I guess Rick post Woody and Batco and other people remember to slum in my stream. So yes, Rick has a stream on Tuesday nights where he just hangs out, talks about his comics and other things. And you can also catch Rick and RJ on Sunday nights here on my channel as well when we do the weekend edition, when we have our panel discussion on recent niche events. Let's see, Woody's got something to say. Toastmaster, I got a CTM one
cool.
charter member of Bull City Toastmasters, Durham, North Carolina. All right.
Yep, I have my distinguished Toastmaster. I was regional. Well, at the time they were regional vice presidents, not vice presidents, but yeah.
Okay, so Backgoat is asking. Okay, cool. What is the channel again, RJ?
I'll put it in the links.
I love MST and Riff Rax. Just subbed cross. Okay. All right. So that's what I like to see in here. Building the community. Building a community. Anyways, let's get back to the content here. Brain teasers. Look at all this stuff right here. Again, from the Times here, these are some fun little activities. Foxy Grandpa. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this one as well. This one has more speaking stuff. And I'll be the kid. You want to be Foxy Grandpa there, RJ?
You got it, youngin'.
Hot dog, a picnic.
Last one out's an old maid.
Okay, there's a woman here. I'm going to do it, but you got to give me
I figured.
We're going mountain climbing, Gramps. So you better stay and watch the lunch.
Who, me?
Bye, Grandpa. Bye, Gramps.
Too old for hill climbing, eh? The body's out, but the motor's in high gear.
You know who this Foxy Grandpa reminds me of in a little bit? The way you're presenting him?
Not a clue.
Okay, you remember you've seen the Jetsons, right? The Jetsons cartoon?
Sure.
You remember Grandpa Jetson? Montgomery J. Jetson or whatever his middle name was. Huh?
I don't think I do remember him.
There was an episode where I think George's grandpa or father or grandpa came to visit, and eventually he kind of fell for, like, I think Spacely's mother-in-law or something like that. So
Well, I'm pulling the voice from Mr. Oldtimer from the Fibber McGee and Molly shows that were done for the Johnson Wax Company, featuring Fibber McGee and Molly.
all right, well, here's some more panels here, and you're the star there, RJ. Go for it.
Some shortcut. At last.
Like,
Just in time.
There's the top. Truck pop. It says Mount Pookie, altitude 1,500 feet, has never been scaled by man. Well, what do you know? We're the first ones. Didn't he just put the sign up?
Yeah, who put the sign up there if no man's ever been there?
Now to beat them back.
Hey, Gramps, guess what we just did? And when we reached the top, a sign said, Wait, George, I just thought. You notice how they spelled thought right there?
Yeah, it caught me. Prescient of them.
No, but look how they spelled thought.
I know. Prescient of them.
If we were the first, then how did the sign get there? By golly, we've been tricked.
Well, why look at me?
He's got the sign in reverse on his shirt because he held it close to him.
All right, so let's see. And you notice they did say that some of them were in color and some of them were in red and white.
Yeah.
So,
well, and the cowboy one switched in the middle from color to black and white with red.
Yeah. Sugar, honey, and huggin'. Interesting. And I think these are
Three bears.
Bears. I think the characters are bears.
Yeah.
You want to do the wolf right there?
Yep.
I'll catch those 3 bears now.
And not a whole lot of dialogue here, but
No, there's not.
We'll turn the tables on Billy Fox.
I'll invite them out for a walk and lead them to the trap.
Come right in, Billy Fox. You must have something to eat.
Would you like to take a walk?
We'd love to. And look at this, it goes to black and white. It goes from red and white to black and white.
Yep. I think they're a manga or something. Come on.
Oh, let's play a little game first. Let's play leapfrog. Oh, okay. Now, with that, where do you think that this is going, RJ?
Oh, I know exactly where they're taking this. This is a Roadrunner Coyote setup all the time.
Okay. But based on what we've read of the story, what we've seen and read of the story thus far, what do you think is going to happen?
No, they're gonna try and lead him into that trap. They're
the very trap
little...
that he's trying to lead them into, right?
Yeah. They're like Heckle and Jekyll, Bugs Bunny characters.
I'll humor them and play a little while.
Who's fooling who here, you wonder, right?
Yeah.
It certainly is fun. Now give a good jump, Billy.
Ouch, help! Oh!
Hurry, Billy Fox. Hurry. Billy Fox is caught in his own trap.
Yeah, hooray. Billy Fox is caught in his own trap. Oh.
I'm a sleuth. Well, okay. You're the narrator here. I haven't played it.
Well, first thing I'm going to say is that I'm a Sleuth, Secret Agent B.O., is by Jack Cole. Now, that is an important name. Cole.
You want to tell us why Jack Cole is an important name for those?
Jack Cole is a very influential artist. who created several characters, one of the most famous being Plastic Man.
Ah, who and do you know where Plastic Man actually debuted?
Police Comics.
Which
Number
was
one.
what company?
That was who was that? Was Fawcett?
Nope.
It wasn't Fawcett?
Nope.
Okay.
Quality. It was from Quality.
Okay.
The same company that, of course, is currently has the Clock running in Feature Comics.
Did Fawcett obtain it?
Comics, not Crack yet. Not Crack yet. He's still in Feature Comics right now.
But did Fawcett obtain Feature Comics? Because I know that Plastic Man came over with to DC from Fawcett when the Freedom Fighters came over.
Well, yeah, but the Freedom Fighters were also from Quality, not from Fawcett. Fawcett was Captain
Shazam.
Marvel.
I'm getting my Shazam purchase and my Freedom Fighters purchase mixed up.
Yeah, because the Freedom Fighters, that was like Uncle Sam, Black Condor, Doll Man, Phantom Lady.
Yeah.
They all came from Quality. Now I know that what may be adding to some of that confusion for you is that there was a story that, albeit was in Quality Comics, Hit Comics, I believe. The feature itself in Universe, in Kanan Universe, was actually a part of Fawcett Comics, and that's trying to remember. Kid Infinity. That's who it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kid Infinity was technically a part of Fawcett Universe, but he was published in Quality Comics in Hit Comics. So,
and then
Secret Agent B.O. Secret Agent
Bullet
B.O.
Man and Bullet Girl, Spy Smasher, all those characters came over eventually. All right, who's doing what? I'll be on the phone.
All right, and then I'm a sleuth there.
Help! Robbers!
What? How? Who? Where? How to trace that call?
So she's riding the bike on the phone lines, tracing the call, of course.
Why is Jim the Dip tuning in on his pet program?
Yeah, listening to the tumblers click in the Acme safe.
Yeah. Shucks. He's wearing gloves. Gotta look for some other clues.
Because he's not leaving fingerprints. Dang it.
Yeah. Evidence. Bam!
There's evidence. He shot the cop.
Well, I'll let you do the bad guy there. You're under arrest, Jip.
What for?
For shooting 6 cops in a light blue. And a light bulb.
But your honor, I got a pistol permit.
Ding. Guess I'll have to let him go. Oh, I've got it. I'll nab him for income tax evasion. But first, a fetching disguise. Fetching disguise. Wow, oh, look at that. Look at that.
This is classic Jack Cole.
Huh?
This is classic Jack Cole stuff.
This ought to get him. Hello, big stuff.
Hello, Angel. I go for you, baby. Pick a rock for your gorgeous claws. I'm fresh up on assets.
Oh, Gippy.
It's all yours. 16 cylinders and a built-in cuspidor.
Cuspidor. You have any idea what a cuspidor is, RJ?
Not a clue.
That goat might know. He's probably... Huh?
That's why God invented Google.
Yeah.
It's a spittoon.
Oh, a spittoon. Okay. That goat was asking, what about Eugene the Jeep? Dog, that's 30s he saved Popeye's bacon a few times.
But he wasn't really a dog. He was a Jeep.
Yeah. I signed on too. Okay, Woody saying he signed on too. Thanks, Woody. And I guess we lost Britt there because she hasn't said anything in a while. We're down to 4 viewers, so hope she'll be back soon. Roadrunner, Wiley, laugh out loud, perfect. Secret Agent BO, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Because okay, what do we tend to know as BO? What does
Body
that
odor
mean?
was then too. That's the same era where there was a Dick Tracy character called B.O. Plenty, and he had plenty of B.O.
All right, this is one dim-witted girl. Jeep. And Britt saying she's still here. Okay, well, thank you for being here, Britt. Hope you'll continue to stick around. And then Batgoat saying, I know, what was he? He could fly, but looked like a dog.
That's just it. He was a Jeep, not a 4-wheel Jeep. He was a Jeep.
Well, Jeep
he was
also
a Jeep
had other
before there were
powers,
Jeeps.
too. Like, he could turn invisible. His nose, he could answer yes and no by changing the color of his nose. I remember the 60s.
It's Eugene, the Jeep.
Gravel Gertie's husband. Okay.
Yes, Gravel Gertie's husband, Sparkle Plenty's father.
All right. Anyways, okay, we already read those parts, so let's. All right. Well, you're the narrator here, RJ. So there's some narration there.
Thus, Jip spends money like water. Ima keeps a record of his spending. Then she removes her disguise and...
Ah! I've got you this time.
The flat-foot fluke.
I guess leading to what Rick had said about her being dim-witted. This little book is your passport for a one-way trip up the river for tax evasion.
No, not that. The mob will never forgive me. I'll fess up to murder, arson, but never that. Now, remember, this is what they got Al Capone
the
for.
bad guys were more afraid of being caught for tax evasion than some of the other stuff.
Yeah, this is what they got Al Capone on.
Uh-huh.
Please, before we go, may I bust the sad news to Grandma? That would be you next.
Well, okay, but cut it short.
She got a deep voice now.
Well,
I know, it was pointing in a weird place.
Yeah. Okay, because where it said, well, okay, but cut it short, that's this guy right here. And you had read this as if it was coming from her. So
I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, y'all feel better in 20 years. And
Came the day of the trial.
And I'll prove by the book that Jip spent $100,000 in 1 week, money he never paid a tax on. I read. Monday quarter from Ma took my gal to a 10-cent movie. Had a jit left. So got a limeade with 2 straws. Gulp. Your horror. That page must have gotten in by mistake. But wait till I read the rest. You want to do the judge?
It better be good.
Sunday. Took Grandma to church. Put my last button in the collection. Gave my shoes to a poor old man. And walked home barefoot. Shared bread crumbs with birds. You want to do those people?
I can't go on.
What happened? Chip acquitted.
Do you have corns? See next issue.
Yeah. Laughs. Let's see. Where are we at on time here? Just need to see where we're. Hour and a half. Okay, so we can probably read a few more of the ones before, because I do definitely want to read the last issue there. Let's see. Let's cut. Brett saying, "I like to hear the stories being told." Yep. Well, as I've explained in the past, Brett, you're obviously one of our newer people. So, and RJ's heard this, and many of my regulars have heard this many a times. When one of the things I look to try to do when I'm reading these stories is to bring people into these universes, because I know there are a lot of people who would love to be able to, immerse themselves in these universes and be able to act, if they could interact with these characters. If they had a chance encounter with Access, who could open the door to any comic. Now, granted, we most of the time we know that Access can, at least according to comic lore, can only open the portal between DC and Marvel. But I argue that he could probably open the portal to any comic universe you want.
He's like Gumby.
Our world. That's my own personal belief.
Yeah, he's like Gumby. He can walk into any book with his little pal Pokey too.
Let's see. What are you saying? I was an avid Dick Tracy reader and daughter. Yay, RH. Let's see. RJ even. You have to file taxes and not declare it to get him on tax evasion.
Yeah, she was treating like he didn't pay tax. I don't know, at the store or something, but
okay. Yes.
So
Anyways, let's get back to, let's see, we're at what?
Houdini the Great.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this one next. So let's see.
So here's a sign.
I'll do the big guy here.
Okay.
The guy in the red shirt. Oh boy, here's where we make us some easy dough. You want to read the sign there?
Extra! Tomorrow, Boudini offers $5,000 to anyone who can lick him. Have you the nerve to fight him, eh? The next day.
Wow, what a crowd. Ladies and gents, I will now introduce the most handsome guy on earth. My twin brother, Houdini. In order to save them, Houdini will take you all on in a bunch.
In order to save
time. To make it a fair fight, we'll make it a handicap. So I'll tie. Oh, I'm sorry. To make it fair, to make it a fair fight, we'll make it a handicap. So I'll tie him up. Now look at the twin brother of Houdini. Doesn't that character kind of remind you of somebody?
Snidely Whiplash.
Kind of a trope from that back in those times, or a meme or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All right. Lend me your brass nuts. I'm gonna murder him. I'm using a Tommy and a knife. Now, RJ, in that context, well, we see it, but
yeah,
what's a Tommy in that context?
He's got that machine gun.
Yeah. We'll take him. Hide behind your seats, audience. The fight's gonna start. Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. And now, hide behind your seats, audience. The fight's gonna start. Grrr! Houdini, great fight tonight. Crack! Well, actually, you want to do the sound effects there?
Bam, crack, wham, crack, pop, bang. He took them all out. How'd he do that?
I realized I hadn't given you much things to do here, so let's see. Boy, you sure cleaned them up. Come on, let's go to a nightclub. Nightclub? Say, aren't you afraid you'll get home too late? No, I'm not afraid of anything. Hello, dear. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit harder because she's not as hot. If anything, she's going to probably sound more like a guy in this case, but I'll do my best here to try to pull this off. Say, do you realize that you're 5 hours late? So what? I'll do as I please. Oh yeah? What you need is a good beating. What? Me get a beating? Why, that's impossible. There isn't a person on earth that can lick me. Except my wife. Oh boy.
Yep. He took on all those men tied up, chained up.
Work the brainy.
Boy, now this one went for the hyper-realistic pencil sketching.
Uh-huh. Let's stick this one because, as I said, I do want to try to get to that crime on the run one, and I know we're probably at an hour and a half already. So
yeah, we gotta get into the downhill slope here.
Yeah, which I'm going to start doing, and we have it's a Tommy gun, which is correct, Rick. Exit stage left. Sorry, stage right. All right, Snagglepuss.
Stage left even.
Huh?
Stage left even.
Yeah. Well, I do definitely want to get the crime on the run feature because that one looked interesting to me. So maybe I'll still might have enough. Let's see, King's Court. Let's see exactly how much time we're hour 33 there. All right. So, we've already got a Village of Missing Men. And then the tech story here. I'm just looking ahead to see how many more, because I may want to go back and read at least. Well, here's little. All right, we'll read this one. Just go.
But before you get into this, let me just say that Little Nemo is a pet passion of mine. I studied a lot of Winsor McCay. I have a lot of his copies of his work, and I wrote a fictional biography of Winsor McCay. So this you're in my wheelhouse here.
All right. Well, what I'll do then is I'll let you not only do the narration, but I'll probably just do the female voices and if there are any kid voices, I'll do some of the higher pitched voices, and I'll let you do all the other characters.
Okay.
All right. He doesn't eat, Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil.
Dr. Pill, but it's still a pun.
Dr. Pill, and he's listless all day.
Well, we're going to do something for him. Let me see, Nemo. Now take a deep, deep breath. What this young man needs is a complete change of scenery. A change altogether.
But where can I go? Where can I go to, Dr. Pill?
Now you take this pill, Nemo. It looks big, but it will go down easy, my boy.
Well, What will it do to him, Doctor? Here goes. I hope I get the big surprise.
Notice that pill in his hand is the size of a Chinese fortune cookie. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
actually, that
swallow the
is
pill.
very interesting. Go,
Go ahead, swallow the pill and take a drink of water. This is a story about taking drugs and getting psychedelic responses. Just pointing this out.
Is that what you think? Is that what you're foreshadowing there?
I know, I know where Windsor McKay goes.
Okay. You want to do the sound effect there? Where am I, Doctor?
You'll see in a minute.
It is too.
It is not. Will you listen to those guys argue?
Where are we going? Flippa?
It's Flip. Flip is a green-faced Irish man. That's the caricature that he's drawing there. Will you guys pipe down?
Please be quiet, gentlemen.
I'll be still for you, Nemo. Where's that old man in the moon?
If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon.
Because I say it's the man in the moon, and the professor says it's only a lot of craters. And mark my words, that's what it is, Doc. Some fun, huh, Nemo, old pal? It's a bunch of craters. It's the man in the moon, I say.
Where are you going? Look out, Flip.
That proves it. We're diving into the mouth of the man in the moon. Whatever it is, it's trouble.
I think that last line was.
We're diving into a crater.
Whatever it is, it's trouble.
It was hard to tell there, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is certainly a strange place, Flip.
And it don't look too good to me.
I think you're the first one and I'm the second one in that case.
Now we are in for it. What are we going to do?
I don't know. You'd better think of something pretty quick. You know what this reminds me of? This artwork right here reminds me of?
What's that?
I don't know if you remember this particular show. I remember it all too well. Do you remember the Great Space Coaster?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a localized show or if that was actually one that ran across other markets as well. The Great Space Coaster, get on board on the. You see the color scheme there? Doesn't it remind you a little bit of the Great Space Coaster?
Oh yeah,
and that vehicle they're driving in as well. Let's see. This moonbeam ray gun had better work fast, Flip.
I'll swing it around into position. I hope they don't open fire too.
Gosh, a perfect strike.
We've got 'em scared plenty. Look at the others run.
Let's see. I think it's all from the same person. So we'd better find out what kind of people they are. Looks like a trick to me. Well, here goes then.
Well, we certainly showed that feller a thing or two. Listen to the old fossils talking, taking all the credit, Nemo.
Let's pay more attention to that ship over there and cut out the funny stuff. All right, I think those two are the two other guys.
Okay. Come on, Doc and Professor. Let's beat it. That wreck was just a trick. Now we're in for it. Help! We've got to act fast this time.
Let's hope my aim is right.
Let her go.
That was a close call.
To think, Nemo, you saved our lives.
Nemo, you're a hero.
How can we ever thank you?
Oh, there's a little narration at the bottom there.
Having finished the adventure on the moon, they are off to other worlds.
Uh,
Now, you know this. This is Little Nemo. The Little Nemo and Slumberland strip that ran in the newspapers was always Nemo sleeping and having these phantasmagorical adventures. I mean, just weird stuff happened. And it would almost always end, initially, it would always end with him falling out of the bed and his mother coming in or his father coming in and, saying, go back to sleep, quit crying out in your sleep. That's the last time you have that for dinner before you go to bed because it's always having weird dreams. Eventually, he would go on to longer and longer adventures in his dreams where, they would go for weeks at a time before he would fall wide awake. Instead of falling asleep, he'd fall awake and lose the adventure, or he would wake up and then go back to the same adventure. So it was these weird things. Winsor McCay also had a more adult strip called Dreams of a Rare Bit Fiend, which were even stranger dreams of an adult. And it was always because he liked to have this very spicy, savory dish called Rare Bits. And the guy was a fiend for him. He would just, there's rare bits for dinner. I'm going to eat them all up, even though they gave him weird dreams. But yeah, this was a drug-induced hallucination in a comic book in 1939.
Well, let's get caught up on the chats a bit here, and then we'll try to get to the last story, and then we'll start to wrap things up a bit. Let's see. So Timothy Olsen saying, "Dude, let me try that joke again. Dude, I am tripping balls."
Yes, he definitely was.
Nailed it. What the heck is that alien doing? No means no, alien. Okay. From Brit.
Now, if this was truly Bob McKay and not Winsor McCay, he nailed his dad's style. His dad, Winsor McCay, first of all, don't plan on reading anything more tonight, Mike, because we're going to talk about Winsor McCay.
I did want to try to get to that crime on the run feature.
Do you like animated cartoons, Mike?
Yeah.
This guy is why you have them. This guy.
Winsor McCay or Bob McKay?
Winsor McCay. Winsor McCay saw the first non-talkie movie and said, wow, I see how this works. This is photography. What if we could draw a bunch of pictures instead of taking photographs and put them in sequence? Well, guess what? It would take forever, because that's a lot of pictures. But Winsor McCay had a side job in the circus, in the carnival. He was the world's fastest sketch artist. You could time him. He would do characters, and he's like, and now you're going to sit down, and he's going to, oh, look, he's already done. And he would hand you the caricature picture that he whipped out. So he did this cartoon, and you can look it up on YouTube. It still exists, called Gertie the Dinosaur. And he drew this brontosaurus that would move. And the thing is, there was no machine that could show these drawings. So not only did he have stacks and stacks of paper, he built the machine that would flip through them and project them onto the wall. Now, when he does this, he was a presentation. It wasn't just, hey, let's sit down and watch what I did. He gets up and he talks about, we're getting ready to see Gertie, and it's a stage show. He's like, Gertie, take a bow. And he's got it all timed, and the dinosaur looks at the audience and it bows. He's like, and now it's time for me to go. And he walks around behind the stage, and just as he walks behind the screen, an animated Winsor McCay appears on the screen, walks up the tail of Gertie the dinosaur, tips his hat, and they ride off into the sunset.
I know in many cartoons, they in some of the cartoons from like the 40s and 50s in particular, I believe they would do some of that where they mix animation with live action. I know Walt Disney in particular was well known for that, where he'd have some, it'd go to the 50s and 60s, you'd have him, having some live kind of a mix of live action and animated interactions where he'd be live.
There were other people who were doing animation, but it was
Oh,
like an art experiment. You would see like a shape just get bigger and go smaller and bigger and smaller. He's the first one who did it with like recognizable figures interacting, doing actions that you could recognize. So yeah, every cartoon you've ever watched, thank him.
yeah. Let's see. Let's get caught up on these chats real quick here. The more you know from Tim. This comic is amazing. Let's see. RJ, you might want to read that one because that's directed at you, I believe.
Thanks for that insight. You're very welcome. I will find a link for that YouTube channel. Well, there's plenty of them. I mean, if you just Google Gertie the Dinosaur, you'll find it. But I will find the link for you anyway.
They had it all straight up villain and drug induced videos vision. Yeah, we've been talking about straight up villains before because a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, when we saw Marvel Comics #1, we read the Namor feature in that. I remember Rick had commented that he the way he looked at it, Namor was a straight up villain.
Yeah.
So, wow. What says Britt? Can you put a link to that, RJ?
I just did. There's a link in the chat to Gertie the Dinosaur.
All right. So, well, did they have Mr. DNA?
Not yet. Not yet.
I think not. And then there's the link RJ had just put up, the Gertie the Dinosaur. Let's see.
That's public domain. You could actually show it if you wanted, but it's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I would have to grab it, but
yeah, it's a lot of work to share it.
Let's see. It really affect. Here we go. Now, another thing about Crime on the Run here. This is another feature by Jack Cole. See the byline right there, RJ?
Yeah. Yep. He was obviously employed by MLJ at this time.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this one, then we'll start to wrap up. So we might go slightly past 2 hours, but that's okay. I really did want to see this one because I think this is one of those based on true event type of crime stories.
Yeah, like Gangbusters.
Yeah. So, all right, that looks more like narration right there, RJ. So you want to go ahead and hit that up?
Introducing a new series of actual detective cases dedicated to the heroic deeds of America's police in their unceasing warfare on the underworld. I hear patriotic music.
Yeah, by Jack. All right, and here's some more narration right here.
The murderous Red Keenan Gang. Cleveland, Ohio residents lived in fear of these killer bandits until, note, this story is absolutely true from beginning to end. Names of characters are genuine, and most of the characters have been drawn from life photographs. All details and scenes were likewise drawn from photographs on record in Cleveland police files.
Wow. That's interesting, isn't it, RJ?
Yeah, they didn't even take the dragnet out, saying, names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
On November 26, 1913, Edward Butler and Frank Dangler, respectable businessmen, were driving home from a meeting when a car approached and...
Hey, look out! Pull over! Get into the back seat. Get into the back seat and lie on the floor pronto. Okay, let's go. Empty your pockets and fork over the reins. Now keep walking and don't look back, or I'll let you both have it. But my car! Police, we've been robbed! My car and money were taken by 3 bandits. 65 bucks. 65 bucks, 2 sparklers, and a car. Not bad. Now, I wonder what sparklers were in that case.
The 2 diamond rings they got.
Oh, okay. Now we'll pull another job while the cops are investigating this one. This one.
15 minutes later.
What? Three men in a dark-colored touring car held up my bakery cart and escaped with the company's cash.
Police were sent out to the holdup scene, but a third report soon reached Central Police Station.
This beats all. Zach's shoe store was held up over on the other side of town. We've got to stop these thugs. Round up all the victims and witnesses and bring them in for questioning.
That night, the victims met at police headquarters.
I want you to look over these photos of known criminals and see if you can identify any of the bandits. I'll let you do these guys right here.
By gar, I'm sure this is one of them.
Let's see it. That's you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, that's one of them, all right.
Brian Keenan, number 51801.
Brian Red Keenan, wanted for breaking parole at Mansfield Reformatory.
Cleveland radio stations sent out Red's description.
And this is kind of a news announcer type. I'll let you do this guy.
Be on the lookout for 3 desperate bandits. The leader, a red-haired man, age 22, height 5'3", wanted for...
Wow, the bandit was apparently pretty short, wasn't he?
Yeah. Next day, officers Cervenka and Fenwick were out on plainclothes duty when a dark coupe passed.
Look, the bandit car. Follow that coupe and step on it.
Ah, the days when cars had runners.
Yeah. Stop! It's the law. Now, before I read this, just to remind everybody, and RJ, you want to answer? So, in this particular context, RJ, what's a dick?
A detective.
Right. That was a term they used for detectives back in this time period, just to remind everybody. The dicks step on it. Crack! Blast it, they got away. Everybody okay? Yep. Just a couple of close shaves.
Except for the guy driving the car who was a normal citizen who they commandeered. He's shell-shocked. Look at that face. He's like...
I'm shot. Get me a doctor. Do something quick.
Sure, we'll do something.
Sure, we'll do something. And do it quick. Help! I kind of had a feeling that's what they were going to do. How about you, RJ?
Yeah. Like, oh, he's wounded. Get rid of him.
Well, I guess the old saying's true. There's no honor among thieves, right?
Nope.
Great work, boys. They found one of the gang dead on 71st Street. He was Joe Ferrick. I guess, Geo Ferrick, which, as we've seen before with George Brenner, I think Geo is just a short form of George. That's my theory. We found the car abandoned with 9 bullet holes in it. And we thought we missed it.
But despite efforts of police, the gang continued to prey on the public. Then, on Christmas Eve,
jingle bell, jingle all the way. Up with them. Take this, punk. Just goes right into a train, right into a carriage there and shoots a guy.
Yep.
Come on, let's go. Help! That man is dead! Shot down in cold blood. From now on, we're up against murderers. They must be stopped before someone else is killed. Extra wagon driver slain and hold up.
Sometime later, Mrs. Florence Columbia, who lived in a remodeled garage on Jordan Road, sat reading her daily paper.
Why, this looks like why it is. Come here, dear. Do you see what I see? You want to do the husband there?
Well, I'll be. That's one of the men we rented our bungalow next door to.
We haven't any phone, so you'd better send Thomas into town to notify the police.
Oh, Tom! Thomas, the hired man, had to walk the distance, but he covered it as rapidly as he was able.
I'll let you do the cop coming in there.
Sergeant Carey, a man just ran in and said that Keenan is out at Stop 10, Lorraine Road.
Meanwhile, Mrs. Columbia, fearing the bandits might leave before police arrived, engaged them in conversation. Oh,
Hello?
this is a mistake.
Oh, what?
I see where this is coming. He might as well have said, meanwhile, Mrs. Columbia, fearing the bandits might leave before the police arrived, decided to become a hostage.
Hello, Mrs. Columbia. Come in. Just thought I'd drop in and see how things are. There's narration right there.
And at the station,
Quick, get men and ammunition from every station. We're taking no chances this time. Yeah, because Mrs. Columbia took the chances for you, right?
yeah. Yep. I have volunteered to be a hostage.
Let me see, because something tells me Rick is liable to chime in saying stupid woman or something like that.
No, Tim's talking about how dumb the crooks were, though. You only like me for my coffee.
Let's see. $65 was a lot back, but not as much nowadays. Yep. Sparklers plenty. And Tim saying, did they say dumb criminals? Were they wanted for first degree were oh boy. So if the police department did not have a detective, they would be okay.
Yes, they would. They would. By the way, this story took place in 1913. This was an old story, so even though it was published in 39, it happened in 1913. $69 in 1913 was the equivalent of $2,085 today.
Do you have access to an inflation calculator?
The entire universe has one because it's on the web.
Yeah.
It's called usinflationcalculator.com.
Huh. That will hurt if they stepped on guys' bleep. Okay.
Yep.
These guys are it look like Tim and Rick are having quite a bit of a conversation there.
Yes, the puns are flying high.
Yeah. If the criminals were hiding
in
in the sewer, would there be? Oh God. Okay, let's see. Mrs. Columbia, you only like me for my coffee. Oh boy. Okay.
It's fresh ground every morning, the way I like it.
Anyways, let's get back to the story here. I know.
All right. Mrs. Columbia waited until she thought the police had been notified, then went home. Soon after, 7 cars with shades drawn down approached the cottage.
Okay, before I continue on here. Okay, in that instance, who's stupider? Mrs. Columbia or the crooks?
Well, she apparently got out and went home. So she managed to, keep them there. How she did it, I don't know. I don't judge. She used what she had available to her.
Are you insinuating that maybe she may have used some of her feminine wiles?
Hey, if Mrs. Columbia's a hoe and Mr. Columbia's okay with it, that's between them.
Right.
I'm
Ready,
curious
man.
about
There's the place.
I'm curious about the cars with their shades pulled down. I did not know cars had shades.
Back then, I think they did. But
Pretty
anyways,
cool.
cops, millions of them. Let's run for it. Come on. Give it to them, boys. They asked for it. Got Keenan.
The second thug was also shot, but refused to surrender.
Come and get me.
And sudden death.
Careful, man. There may be more inside. All right, Sonny. You can come out from under that bed now. A whole dresser full of burglar tools and guns.
Oh my God. They're just laying in there. There's like a dagger in there. They were shooting people. What are they doing with the dagger? Thus,
I guess
the
just
Keenan
one of those
gang was-
weird twists in some of these old comics. We talk about this stuff all the time. You know,
I think there's a Mason chain in there. It's just, I do see a pistol at least pointing up. Yeah, that's how you secure a gun in the drawer. Sure.
Anyways, there's some narration there.
Thus, the Keenan gang was finally captured. The dead bandit was identified as Charles Sanborn. Keenan and his pals, Mitchich, went on trial.
We find the defendants guilty of murder in the first degree.
Okay.
And we got another portion here that's a little bit Dragnet 8. Dragnet 8. I'm gonna let you read these. Go for it, RJ.
We need Dragnet music. Dun, 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 dun. Charles Sanborn, wanted for murder during the gun battle, was shot in the shoulder and head. A final shot to the head killed him. Ferdinand Mitchich, the young bandit who hid under the bed, was identified as one of the men who killed the wagon driver. Brian Keenan had part of his hand shot away. He confessed to nearly 100 crimes, including holdups, burglaries, and auto thefts. The heroic work of Detective Captain Cody, Lieutenant Story, Captain Lavelle, Lieutenant Tim, Sergeant Keene, Officers Allen, Tennant, Krause, Shamoa, Mekis, and Cleveland Police is worthy of praise, as is Mrs. Columbia for her alertness and bravery in recognizing and holding the bandits until police arrived on the scene. The end. Look for another true story next issue.
That's a pretty good story. What do you say, RJ?
Yeah, well, the real one's pretty cool.
And then, of course, here's the ad. I know Batgoat loves these.
Buy a gun off the back of a comic book.
Which, this wouldn't go over well today. The gun control advocates would be like, hell no.
Yeah, I know it.
So anyway, so there we go. So there we go. I still wanted to get that Crime on the Run feature in there as well. Because I think that's the way they were setting that up. I kind of knew that was going to be. So we're just past the 2-hour mark. We're going to start to wrap up here. Let's get caught up on these chats a little bit here. We already read that part. So let's see. Mrs. Columbia and my drugs. Okay.
Yeah.
Criminals. According to this, we were not supposed to let her leave.
No, you were. You're supposed to keep her. You're got a hostage.
Police detectives to Mrs. Columbia from Rick here. Do you like B because I am a
Oh.
Rick. And a sword in the drawer too.
Yeah, it was just like it wasn't Jack Cole doing that, but come on.
Well, yeah, Jack Cole was the one who wrote and drew the story. A dagger.
Yeah, he threw in it's supposed to be drawn from real life. They said from photographs. Did you not notice how the mugshots at the end looked like a Dick Tracy lineup? I mean, it's like there's Mumbles.
Well, I actually haven't seen a Dick Tracy because They weren't available in the comics that we've read so far, so couldn't really tell you. But Tim said, "Caught quick. Men pose their bodies in hilarious positions." Okay. All right. So with that, we're gonna wind down here. So today is Friday, March the 3rd, 2023. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. I'm just double checking some things here in preparation here. 18, 2008, 2003. And RJ, if you don't mind sticking around a couple minutes after we're done here. So this is a point in the show when we, do what we call this day in each history, in which we look back at this day in each history. We look back, on, things that happened in each in history. So here we go. So first off, our first stop, we're going to head back 24 years ago today. It's on this date, 24 years ago today, back in 1999. The first issue of Volume 2 of Anarchy went on sale on this date back in 1999. Sold for $250, was 32 pages. The story was called Power Play, which I think was part of the Aberration story arc. Written by Alan Grant, penciled by Norm Breyfogle, inked by Joseph Rubenstein, lettered by John Costanza, colored by Noel C. Golden. Any of these names sound familiar to you, RJ?
Well, just the writer and the colorer on the penciler and the inker. Yeah, I know all those names.
All right.
I bought that when it was new.
Yeah. This was the second volume of this book, Anarchy. So let's see now. We got a couple more things. Neech. Sorry, I was eating dinner. History. Yep.
History.
All right. So actually getting back to the history segment here. Let's see. 2003 is the next thing. So on this date, 20 years ago, in 2003, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event from the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. This is about a week after their No Way Out pay-per-view that year. The main event saw Kane and Rob Van Dam defeat Al Snow and Tommy Dreamer in a hardcore tag team match. Among some of the other matchups on the night, Chris Jericho defeated Test. Jacqueline and Trish Stratus defeated Jazz and Victoria. Chief Morley, a.k.a. Val Venus, for some of you who may not know, defeated Spike Dudley in if Spike wins, the Dudley Boys are no longer suspended match. And then the opening match of the night saw Christian defeat Jeff Hardy. And of course, this is around the time when the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and Edge and Christian were kind of getting going as being some of the more dominant teams of the division of that time. So on this date, 20 years ago today, from Nassau Coliseum in New York, was the Monday Night Raw event for WWE. And let's see, he just said something here. My beef egg fried rice is a success. Good, man. I had to hear it. Anyways, moving on to the next piece of niche history. Bit of sad news here, as on this date, 15 years ago today, Japanese voice actor, Seiryu as they call him, Taichiro Hirokawa, passed away at the age of 69. His death was announced at the second Seiryu Awards. Of course, this guy is the guy who provided the Japanese voice of Lupin III in the 1969 pilot film for Lupin III. He was from the looks of it, from when I looked over his work here, looked like a lot of his work was, late 60s into the, much of the 70s and 80s. A lot of these He did. He was the announcer. He was an announcer, the Japanese announcer in Pokemon Heroes back in 2002, and then did some live action dub work as well for some of these actors here that you see, including Adam West. He was the Japanese dub voice actor for Adam West in the Batman series. So that's pretty interesting. So on this date, 15 years ago today, Japanese voice actor Seiryu Taichiro Hirokawa passed away at the age of 69. And for those of you who may not have heard, because I did mention this, I think last Sunday, I know you haven't been around a while, so you probably didn't find this out. And I think I mentioned this. Woody, you may have already heard this. Our dog Chloe, we had to put her down last Saturday just to let you guys know. So that was kind of a sad thing for our family. But anyways, nicely done. Had noodles and salad. All right. So anyways, our last piece in Nietzsche history happened just 5 years ago today. Soon as we get to that. All right, so on this date, 5 years ago today, the 38th Golden Raspberry Awards were held. And with that, I guess part of the reason it was in the animation section because Sony Picture Animation's The Emoji Film wins a record 4 Razzie Awards, including Worst Picture, becoming the first animated film to win it. So on this date, 5 years ago today, the Emoji Movie won a Razzie for Worst Picture, becoming the first animated film to win it.
Well deserved.
RJ, you have any? Huh? What?
Well deserved award.
Movie?
I've seen enough of it. I didn't have to see all of it.
Let's see. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. R.I.P. Chloe. I know I didn't mention it earlier in the week, but for those who haven't been here, I wanted to mention because like Batcoat and Woody are two of the guys who've been, been a part of this community for a long time. We welcome Batcoat back from his time away, and I hope to see more of him throughout the week. But with that, we're going to wrap up here. Before I kind of conclude my spiel here, I want to give RJ a chance to do an outro for him. If he wants to plug his work, maybe put a link to his channel or anything like that. RJ, go for it.
Well, I put a link to the channel in way back up the stream, but you can always find us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, even at Critical Blast. We just found a good name and stuck with it all across the board. And of course, we are at criticalblast.com.
And what happens on criticalblast.com, RJ?
Where pop culture gets blasted.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Batgoat was saying something. I'll hang around more. See you on Fridays for sure. All right. All right. Well, with that, before I'm going to now finally wrap things up, RJ, as I said, if you can go ahead and stick around for a couple minutes afterwards, for some post show. All right. So I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the content we went over tonight. I hope it proved to be an entertaining experience, an entertaining and educational experience. I hope you feel like you're a part of the community. We will be back here, of course, on Sunday for a weekend edition where hopefully RJ, Rick, Tim, and hopefully a few others will be joining us for our panel discussion. In which we go over some of the recent niche news and all that. The niche news of the last week is kind of having a back and forth, and kind of an open mic, open panel kind of situation where we discuss all things niche. Monday, we go over DC and Marvel releases from CBR. Tuesday to Thursday is our nightly niche newscast, and then of course next Friday We'll be back here for the historical comic retrospect. Next week, Rick Piper will be joining me as we will be continuing our look through September of 1939, and we will be next week. We'll be focusing in on some of the early days of Harvey Comics. We'll be reading over Speed Comics volume issue number 2 with Shock Gibson of all characters. So I hope to see everybody every night of the week. Let's build this community of fun and get away from some of the drama of the real world. Before I go, we'll kind of catch up on the last of the chat here. Night all from Rick. And then back up, same piece. This was a nice and funny scene. Well, Brett, I hope to see you back here more often. You're always welcome. Oot. Yes, it was. All right. So with that, guys, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here on Sunday.
And remember, Schrodinger's cat is whatever. He's alive or dead.
All right. Bye. Oops. Bye. I will. Bye. Hit the wrong thing there. Anyways.